So today we have a different type of video. Today what I'll be doing is more of a podcast style interview where I get a chance to dissect and you get a chance to listen and experience different entrepreneurs and get a chance to understand where people have struggled, their failures, their successes, and what made them who they are today. And today I have a very special guest. This is someone that's close to me. I would consider a sister, but someone that I also look up to from a business perspective and that I admire. So today we have Vicky Lamar.
Hello.
All right, so something special and something that I've paid attention to because I know her, but also because it's interesting. She has a business that is very unique and different from what most people may expect, and that is she is a scholarship coach. And I'll let her explain a little bit more of what that is and what it entails, so I'll let you take the floor.
Pretty much what a scholarship coach is, I help people get scholarships for college. So pretty much I work with students and parents at the high school level, college level, and graduate level, helping them secure scholarships. So my company started in 2018, and that's where I accumulated $3 million in scholarships. So my first year of college, I was able to profit a bit over $60,000 in scholarships. And I profited even more after that. And so when that happened, a lot of people, as you would think, started to figure out like, okay, how did this girl do it? And so pretty much I started my business, Securing Degrees Debt Free. That was my first name before I switched it to Securing Degrees. And so since then, I've just been helping a lot of people go to college for free. I've worked with a bit over 3,600 students, and they've accumulated now a bit over $15 million in scholarships. So that's what I do as a scholarship coach. I just help people get free money. That's it.
Right. No, it's amazing because I remember when you started it and I was watching you go from school to school and build different relationships with either students, different universities. I remember when you were in San Fran, you worked with the college out there, if I'm not mistaken, right? Mm-hmm. And then coming back to Georgia, and then you truly just expanded. So I'm curious to know, like, from the beginning, how was it that you started this idea? What was the point where it was like, this should become a business?
I actually didn't think that I was going to become a business. I think when I started to get a lot of buzz about securing degrees or just like me being this person who got a lot of money from scholarships, I had went to a local library. Actually, I had talked to one of my friends, Amir. Amir is a very pivotal person in this process because we went to Wood Creek Library and we were sitting down and I'm like, okay, I want to do the scholarships. We started coming up with names and all these different things. And I had went to the library. At that point, I did not know that you could not charge at a library, but I had made an event, right? And I had charged $5 and like all 50 people had bought a ticket to hear me talk about scholarships. And
Was this the event that I recorded at?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm like, these people want to hear me talk about scholarships? That's crazy. And so honestly, like, it's really important to have people in your life who see bigger than you, you know? And so like my sister is the one who really kind of was like, okay, like what's next? Like it was Freddie. She was like, what's next? And I didn't even think about like, oh, I can go to different schools. I can do this and that. Like I just saw it as like, okay, yeah, like before I go to college, I'm just going to teach some scholarships to people, some tips and tricks. And then like, when people started really liking it and asking me like, hey, like, can you help me one-on-one? Or hey, like, can you send me a list of scholarships? That's why I'm like, wow, this is a business.
The light went off then.
It was crazy.
Right. Absolutely. So when the light went off, your first couple of sales and when you realized that, okay, this is a business, what was it that you originally started doing? Were you targeting students? Were you targeting parents? Were you targeting schools, universities? Because I know now that you've grown, you've been able to expand in different markets and get money from different people and different customers. But that original customer base, who was your target audience?
My original customer was the students. Like I was on Twitter going and putting like, I was messaging students in their DMs like, hey, like I know you need scholarships, like sign up. It's just $5. Like I was in a lot of students' DMs, which kind of like trickle into their parents. So yeah, my audience has changed so much. But initially it was the students, and the students from Wesley, they were coming to my seminars. Like it was crazy. Like people were calling me about scholarships and they were coming. So it was the students, and I'm grateful for all of my new people who was in the beginning because I have video footage of all of those students who were at my first seminar, and now they're like seniors in college. So It's amazing.
I know. So I want to later on we'll get into like money and how much you've helped people, the amount that you've helped people, how much you've been able to and create your business model based on your business and how you've been able to make money for yourself. But one thing that people don't understand is the time that goes into a business. Like you've been at it for years, like years. And I don't think people understand that to get to a certain level of stability, there takes a lot of failures, but also a lot of hard work and consistency to get to that point. So my question is first, like, when did you start your business? Because we're in 2022 now. So, and I know around the time, but when was it that you created your business?
Yeah. So June 30th of 2018. So we're about to go on 5 years.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was 5 years. I was thinking more like 4, but I was still at like running track at Tech.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah. You was at Kennesaw.
Was I?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, Kennesaw was first before Tech.
Kennesaw was first.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And you've been at it. Like, and I've talked with you in different ways along the way, from different things like social media and whether it be help with, camera setups or whatever it may be, so that I could do my part in helping you grow your business in different ways. Maybe not as hands-on, but whatever I could do, wherever my skill set was, right? So looking at how you've just been able to grow as a whole and your stepping stones from, like you said, the early days of just being able to identify that, hey, there's a need here. Mm-hmm. And then chasing it. Like a lot of people try to use with businesses now, they try to automate and use social media, and that's what I want to get into next. And you used it and leveraged it to your benefit because all your students are on social media.
Yeah.
So you immediately went directly to your customer and said, hey, I know you need this. This is a pivotal point in what you need to get to the next step. And then they transferred that message to their parents. And after that, it was kind of a trickle effect, and they got on it. So given where you started with social media, I'm curious to know now, because you showed me your computer and your dashboard, as far as you wanting/doing Facebook ads, TikTok ads. And I'm just curious to know how you use social media now versus how you used it then.
Yeah. So I'm actually still new to social media. Like when it comes to just like learning everything, I really don't do any ads. Like I tell people a lot of my business is just word of mouth and doing good business. Like that's what drives my company. It's like word of mouth. Someone heard about me. I helped somebody go to school for free. Now they want to work. Like that's what it is. So social media now, I just kind of use it to document my life. Like I don't really think about it as like, oh, like I need to come on here and talk about scholarships. It's like, no, like my lifestyle is scholarships. Like people say like, why are you always talking about scholarships? Scholarships has afforded everything for me. So how can I not talk about scholarships? So it's like when I'm on Instagram or like doing a story or talking, it's like, that's just what's on my mind at that time. It's not, I don't plan content. I don't have any type of social media recipe. I tried to post every day. It didn't work. I got tired. I said, I cannot do this. Yeah. So I kind of just use social media as like just documenting my lifestyle. And my lifestyle happens to be scholarships because I am just so invested and like so passionate about my work. It's like, this is like my baby. It's like, parents don't stop talking about their kids. It's the same thing with my business. And so I still don't really know how to use social media all the way, but I think the way that I use it and just showing people like, hey, like this girl, like it's not about the money. It's not, because I've gotten my kids like millions of dollars and I haven't seen my first million yet, in my bank account. So it's really just something that I enjoy doing, and I kind of just like to like showcase that on social media. So it's really just like my life, but my life is scholarships in a way. Right.
Like you become a part of your business.
Yeah.
One person that I can immediately think of, and I don't know if you watch it, but it's like fighting. It's a guy by the owner of UFC, Dana White. Like whenever you see Dana White, it's something fighting related, and that's the first thing that comes to mind, is because his personal brand, his life has become what he loved doing, which is promoting fights, in his case, promoting his business. And the same thing in your case, like people see your social media and they see that it's securing degrees, and it's because that's what you love doing, right?
Yeah.
Like it is you, it's a piece of you at this point, right? So like that's an important piece that a lot of people need to like there's different ways that you can do business, and one thing that there isn't one way to do business.
Yeah.
For some people, it's something that they were able to create in their off time, right? Like, and it became something that was bigger than they expected or not as much. It doesn't really matter, but your business is your business, and how you choose to go about your time and how you allocate it is up to you. Some people have it and that's their only thing, that's their life, or others have it and it's, passive. So it's something that you have to be able to understand, like your life, your time, and based on what you want to do with it. And for some, you may either need to allocate more time towards it, and it's just your priorities, your life. So it's cool to see that, like, from your perspective, there's something that you love doing, and that you've been able to do it and have fun while you're doing it.
Yeah,
like,
it's fun.
Like it's your love, and I can tell. Like you do it all the time, is what you talk about, even when we get on the phone. It doesn't matter. Something that you're doing is related towards progressing and growing in your business. So I respect it and I love it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, so we talked about the base of your business. We've talked about how you started. We talked about social media and how you were able to grow, targeting your first customer. I want to pivot now, going towards where you currently are, diving towards into money. But first, I want to take a step in how you got there. So when it comes to your business, right, you started with your initial customer of being students. You targeted your students only. I know, and now the other people get a chance to know, that you also have been able to grow and partner with universities. You've been able to partner with high schools as well as brands like the NFL. And I think that you killed that.
Thank you.
But I think that's important. And I'd like to know two things. One, how was it that you were able to build these networks and connections so that you could grow with these other companies? And then also, can you share some of the ones that you have partnerships with?
Yeah. Okay, so that's actually a really, really loaded question, because it's like, first, I feel like I had to talk about how my company changes every single day. Like, yes, I was in people's DMs at first, but like, I don't do that no more, right? So it's like, as my business has changed, and also how as times have changed, I've had to change like who I am targeting. So yeah, it was the students at first, and then I went to college and I started targeting schools. And then I'm like, okay, that's like kind of a rabbit hole sometimes. So then I started targeting parents. And like right now, like my main target is parents, because parents are the ones who are going to be paying for the service for their kids with me. It's not the kids who are going to be paying. And now it's like, okay, the parents can pay, but now if the schools see that I can help their students, let me charge the schools, because I don't want to be charging parents. I want this to be a free resource, for the student, that their school can take care of. And so I think just like, to answer that question is like how I've changed. I think like failure is like really important to talk about, because like I felt so much in my business, like as far as just like when COVID hit, COVID like was a big thing, right? Because at first I was doing like all of these like in-person seminars, and everybody was coming to my seminars. But then when COVID hit, like every seminar got canceled. Everything was canceled. I ain't had no business no more. Like, everything was canceled, and I had to like repivot. I had to pivot. Like, so pivoting is like just the name of the game. Like, you just got to be willing to pivot, and you got to be willing to fail. Like, you can't be an entrepreneur if you're not going to fail. And so as far as like my clients, some partners, like I was contracted with San Francisco school district out there. I've been contracted with Vallejo School District. I have partnerships with Atlanta Public Schools, Gwinnett County schools, some Fulton County schools. I am now director of educational advancement for the NFLA. So that's through the NFL. So it's like a lot of these things, it just kind of comes to me, honestly, because I've just been working so hard. And I've always been a person, like, I've never really cared about recognition, or like, I've just never cared about recognition. Like, I just stay focused. I get these people to scholarships, and then people can only want to be a part of my company because like I have such great results. It's like undeniable. Like, I get people free school. So, honestly, as far as like getting those things, it really just has been God. Like, I pray all the time that God puts the right people in my life to do the hard work for me. Seriously. Like, I try to find as many who's as possible to do the right work for me, good work for me. And so with that, it's just been like a lot of angels in my life who have come to me and said, hey, Victoria, like, can you be part of this? Like, it was a mentor who got me to do the thing with NFLA. Like, it was just a mentor, someone who came to me and just saw how hard I've been working. And I try to tell people, like, if I had not just kept doing great or just kept doing my best, no one would be checking for me right now, like, at all. This didn't come until year 4. People did not start checking for me until year 4. So if I would have slacked year 1, year 2, or year 3, this would not even be a thing. So it's like, for all of those partnerships and like people now knowing about me in all these different states is really just because like I've just been consistently putting in the work, and now like I'm starting to reap a lot of like what I've sowed.
I think a lot of it plays also into the fact that, one, you're extremely determined and consistent. Like, again, when we get on the phone, I know you have goals going on. Like, I know that you have goals going on. I know that you're trying to knock them off before you go to sleep the next day. But along with your consistency and hard work, I think is a test to how much you are passionate about your business. Because if you weren't as passionate about your business, these people wouldn't recommend their kids and their friends to go to you.
Yeah.
Right? Those networks with the NFL are because of how hard you work, like you said. And then also with networking, one thing I wanted to point out was, even, I don't know if you know it, but you know when someone's passionate about it is when their business isn't about the money. Like, don't get me wrong, you can't run a business without paying attention to the money. But something that you said that stuck with me is that you wanted to find a way that the parents would not have to pay money, right? Like, it wasn't about just making money, because you could still use that source of revenue and say, hey, like, run me my check. But for you, it wasn't about that. It was, hey, maybe I can pivot this business model so that I can charge the schools money, and now instead of the parents paying money, it's directly free for the schools.
Because the schools have funding for my service.
Exactly.
Like, they really do. So it's like, even that, it's like me talking to people. I did not know that schools had money for tutoring service like mine until I was trying to find like all these applications to host my business or whatever. And it was this like tutoring company called like Pearl Tutoring Company or whatever. And I just signed up for a demo. I signed up for a demo for all of these companies just to see how they run, literally. And like I got on the demo, and the person on the demo was the CFO of the company. And he's like, wow, like, I don't know if my service, I think it was Pearl. But anyways, he's like, I don't know if this would be like best for you, but like, let me tell you like what I know. I know that and the government has poured billions of dollars to schools, to public schools, and a portion of that has to go to tutoring services. So if you can just try to like tap into that money that's already there, it's yours. And I'm like, what? Like, how do you, I would not have even known that was even a thing unless I put myself out there and was just like, okay, like, can you help me? Like, I just feel I've been very, like, humble about this entire process, and I'm always seeking help and guidance or, like, some type of advice from people who have already made it. And I think, like, I just recently started doing that, and that has, like, changed, like, the entire, like, that has changed my entire business. It's just, like, humbling yourself and knowing that, like, I don't know it all and I need help, and going to those people who can help you. And it's like, again, like, I just feel like God is like just putting like the right people in my life to help me out, because I need help and I can't do it by myself.
Right. But that's like the fact that you know that, and that you're aware that it's not a one-man show, and that you have to outsource different things in different times, like being able to know that I need help in this moment. Yeah. It'll help you get past whatever hurdle you're in immediately. And like, one thing that you do better than probably anybody that I know is you're not afraid to fail. Like when I say that, like a lot of people just say I'm not afraid to fail, but when I say it, I mean it in the sense of you will throw a product out there to get feedback, kind of like that MVP style. Like, let's put out a small, what is the word, minimal valuable product in a sense. Like, let's put out something so that we can get feedback to learn what's wrong, because that's the only way that you can progress, is see what your customers like so that you can move forward in the end, right? So, like, that's one thing that you do very well, is you're able to find out what is wrong with whatever it is you're trying to do, or be able to problem solve and be able to fail in that sense. Like, you'll put a foot in the door and try to do whatever it is you're trying to accomplish so that you can get that immediate feedback and start, progressing and getting better, whatever it is you're trying to do. And I admire that. That's pretty cool, because everybody doesn't have that that want or desire to learn, especially when they know that it's going to come with.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to fail. Like, you have to fail. And like I said, like, I'm not scared of rejection at all. I'm not scared of failure. Actually, to even join my program, that's rule number one, is like, you have to understand that rejection is inevitable. And whenever I am onboarding a client or a student, I always have that student and their parent. And I say, rule number one is we're going to get rejected. If you do not feel comfortable with rejection, then I'm not a good fit for you, because it's just really honest. And so that's why, like, even with my company, like, yeah, I help people get scholarships, but like, I'm really a mentor to a lot of these students. And so I just get to do it through scholarships, but like, I teach my students accountability, discipline, commitment, how to stay true to deadlines, how to overcome rejection, how to not care about failure. Like, I teach them so many life lessons. Like, I have students who are like, wow, like, I would not have applied to college had I not worked with you, because I was scared of rejection. But rule number one in my program is you gonna get rejected, so it's okay. Don't care about it, because it's gonna come. And so it's just like, I feel like I'm changing people's lives through scholarships, and it's crazy that scholarships is the way that I'm doing this.
Right.
But it's amazing.
Right. But again, playing back to what we talked about earlier, it's been a part of your life, and that's your calling, and that's what God has put in front of you so that you could impact a lot of people.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. So we've covered the basis of who you are, what you've been able to do to get to the point that you're at. We've been able to understand your business, what it is that you do, how you've been able to do it, a few of your pathways into your connections. So one of the things that I want to get into next is money related, and understanding the business side of your business, the money side, and how it is that you are able to make money. Because we talked about this before we started, but people don't see this as a business, especially students and parents. They just see it more as something that you're doing to help others, but there's a business side behind it. So I'm curious to know how it is that you're able to make money, and from essentially a service perspective, I'm curious to know like margins and what it is that you're able to do to provide for yourself.
Yeah, so I just realized I was not making money for a long time. Ooh. I had checked my PayPal. Like, literally, I've been running this business, not like, I'm not no CFO. I mean, I guess I am in my own right, but it's like I was running this business without tracking anything I made. Like, I just started tracking how much I'm making 3 months ago. And so I think, like, that's an important part, too, because it's like I was never checking for the money. I was living off of refund checks and scholarships. So, like, this business was just, like, really just me wanting to help people. But now, because my business kind of, like, grew, like, random. I'm not going to say randomly, because I say that a lot, and people are like, no, you've been working at it for so many years. But no, like, I promise you, I got out of a relationship. 2 weeks later, my business increased 1,800%. Like, no cap. Like, it was crazy. So, like, to me, that was like, boom. And so now I am a 6-figure business. So that feels good. I make money through, like, my website services. So I help people with, like, essay edits. I consider myself to be a storyteller. So what really makes my business unique is that I help create storylines for my students to write their essays. So it's like, all of those essays, I be helping them with that storyline. Like, stories be good. So I do that. And then also I have, like, subscription services. So I remember, like, last year, a parent, they were like, hey, like, can you help my son apply to scholarships ongoingly? I'm like, okay. And that's, to your point, I'm not scared of creating a business.
Right.
She said that. I said, okay, yeah, I'll send you the link. Like I already had a service. Right. I ain't had no service.
But you
I had
to
create this whole service. And so I'm like, okay, what is going to be sustainable? So I was like, okay, I'll meet with them twice a month, and I'll help them apply to scholarships and college. And at that point, I was only charging $150 a month. But I was getting these people full rides,
right.
full rides with refund checks.
So
that's the norm for my students. It's like full rides and refund checks.
Right.
So I'm getting them surplus of money. And then just like networking, I'm adding people to my team. It was this lady, she told me like the importance of like price and marketing and how they go hand in hand. Is like, you can't be too cheap because people are not going to see the value. But at the same time, like when it comes to pricing, I always say I don't want to charge anything my mom can afford, because like I come from low income. People don't realize like I got scholarships because I was broke. You know what I mean? Like I have all these scholarships because I came from a low income family, you know, and that's the only way that I was going to go to college. And so pricing, pretty much, I just charge like for my services. And then I charge the schools like a set fee depending on what they want. So how many students am I going to be working with? What type of work am I going to be doing with those students? Am I helping them find scholarships? Am I editing all of their essays? If so, then that's a fee. But my fee is like nothing compared to what I get these students. Okay? Like it's crazy. But every fee is different. I'm still learning pricing. Like I'm still very new in this business. It's not like a one size fit all, especially in this type of business. It's very, very unique to be a scholarship coach. So I'm still learning. Absolutely.
That's really cool because like, it all ties in. Like when you hear people's story, you can understand, like you start to hear similarities throughout their whole business. And the biggest thing that I can see is that one, it was something that you went through, like as far as applying for scholarships and finding a way that you could get to school debt free. And then the other is just your willingness and determination to help others get through the same process that have also been in a similar situation as yourself. And it plays throughout your business model. It plays throughout the trials and tribulations that you've had. And then also like how you've been able to grow and build connections and start your company. So yeah, more power to you.
It's been a lot of trials. I tell people like, I think I've experienced everything. Well, not everything, but I've experienced a lot, and I can connect to like every student. Like I've been to public college, I've been to a private college, I've been to a junior college. You know, I've experienced so many things throughout my life that literally like there's no student that I can't connect with, like because I've experienced a lot of things that people don't even know about. Like a lot of people, I think they look at me and they're like, oh yeah, this girl went to private school. People think I went to private school, Wesley. Like, that's crazy. Like, they just have all of these thoughts, and it's like, no, like, I grew up without air conditioning. Like, no, it was not what y'all think. But it is amazing, and I guess it does inspire people to, like, see where I am now, especially with them not knowing, like, everything I've gone through to get here.
So, then quote me if I say this right. So, as of now, your main focus and business model is based around schools, like subscription services, or more of a contract flat fee with schools, universities, and then now brands such as the NFL, correct?
Yeah. So, like the NFLA, that's just a partnership. So I am partnering with like just different organizations, nonprofits. My main thing is like school districts, actually. Like I want to be partnering with the school district and creating like curriculums or programs to help those students go to school debt free, because I feel like I got the secret sauce and I know what I'm doing. And so if I can just go into the school district and make that impact there so I can help more students, I think that would be ideal for me. And so from the college level, the way I'm trying to go into the colleges is like, you know, when you get that acceptance package that has your financial aid, all I want is a 1-pager for securing degrees. This is how you get it paid for, right? Contact me. That's the type of partnership I can see with a college. It's just having my resources out there, but also doing like seminars and, you know, helping low-income students, international students. There's scholarships for everybody, so not just limited to those, but those are obviously, like, you know, my passion groups.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, and we'll go in, based off what you said about something that you can see your business doing as far as, like, future growth. I'm curious to know if there's any other future growth that you have for your business as far as projections or things that you want to accomplish within the next couple of years.
I'm not going to lie. It's really hard to come up with like 5-year plans for my business, because every week I'm just like, what, Victoria?
Yeah, things are constantly changing.
You just did that, girl?
Yeah.
Like, whoa, like literally every day. Like I used to cry like every day, literally, because I would just be like, wow, like God is so good. Like he's so good. Like, it's a lot of things I can't even predict. So when people talk about projections, it's like, I didn't even predict that my business would be what it is now. So I feel like anything I try to project is going to be me limiting myself. So I don't really do too many projections. But what I do know is that I do want to be in every school district in America.
Okay.
And internationally.
That's big. That's big.
And the thing
is, I know you can do it. It's not because something that you said earlier is you have to have people around you that can believe in you, as well as people that can inspire you. And like, I'll always be that person for you, but I believe genuinely that that's something that you can accomplish, because not only are you a hard worker, which is like surface level, but it's something that you, just watching you work all the time, I know that when you set that goal out to achieve something, it's going to get done. You've been at this for 5 years. You become an expert in your field. You know the ins and outs of this without looking at books and reading,
Yeah,
paper.
I've never read no book about no scholarships. It's crazy.
It's your life.
It just can't.
It's your life, and I know personally that those goals will get achieved. So I'm looking forward to watching for sure. All right, we're good. So a few more things that I want to hit on is I think it's important that people highlight their successes, and not too many people do it because we are either afraid to flaunt, if you will, or we care too much about what other people think. For whatever the reason is, I feel like you should give yourself flowers, but also other people should give them to you, especially while you have the chance. So I want to take this moment to allow you to tell us what it is that you are feel good about that you've accomplished within your business. This can be like, if you were reading your resume about your business, things that you've accomplished, but I'd like to hear from your perspective, what is it that you would highlight about your business that you've been able to accomplish?
I think some highlights would definitely be helping like thousands of students go to school. I think that's an extreme accomplishment. Like, I do not get used to that feeling. I think that's another thing too. I don't get used to accomplishments. Like, it's not like, people might be like, Victoria, get everything. And I cry every time I get something. Like, I don't get used to it. And so I think the biggest thing is like helping students go to school debt free and like breaking generational curses. I think that's what it is. Cause it's like, I don't see this as just like free college for my students. I see this as like their parents don't have to go into debt any longer. They don't have to go into debt. Now they have a higher chance of being a homeowner. They don't have to put that debt on their kids. It's like, it's a whole generation of people who are impacted by me helping these students go to school. Like, it's not just them, because I've seen it with myself. Like, had my mom had to take out loans to afford all 4 of her girls to go to school, that I don't know how she could do that, because she's teacher salary, just no way it's going to work. And so I have parents who are like, Victoria, like, they be charging my services on their cards, and I pay it back to them tenfold. Refund checks, free school. Parents be calling me crying, like Victoria, you have no idea how much this has helped me. Like, I have gotten and like created healthier relationships for my parents and their students through scholarships. Like, the student be so excited to work with their parents to submit these scholarships and edit their essays. Like, it's just crazy how much scholarships have impacted like so many people, because there's a lot of students I work with who this is their first time knowing anything about a scholarship. Like, they never even knew that you could have free money. And a lot of my students, they have beautiful stories. So oftentimes when I am like helping a student write their essay, it's literally kind of like a therapy session, because I'm like, I have to understand your pain points. I have to understand your challenges. I have to understand your obstacles. I have to understand your greatest accomplishment. I have to understand what you do in the community. I have to understand how you were a leader. So it's like, 1, I have so many stories in my head. But 2, it's like, I think the best feeling is just like being able to be a part of my students' process, because my students, like, they're going to grow up to be like some amazing people. And just for me to be able to say that, like, I helped them articulate their story that has allowed them to receive thousands upon thousands of dollars, that is my greatest accomplishment. It's like the people aspect of everything. But like some numbers, I've worked with thousands of students, got them millions of scholarships, like 15 million. And I haven't even ran an updated number since like a year ago. So it's probably way more than that. But I don't really care about the numbers like that. It's more so just like the people is really like my main focus. Like my students like changed my life every single time I talk to them. Like honestly, it's crazy. And they don't even know that. But I tell them, I'm like, wow, y'all are amazing. But it's the students who have been the greatest accomplishment for me.
I feel like we've covered a lot through this conversation, and I think it's a good place to end on where you just finished. I think that we have a lot more that we could talk about and share. We could do a day in the life. We could do any of your other entrepreneurship and activities that you have going on, from being a consultant, also, real estate. There are a lot of places that we could go in the future and just let others experience what it is to be like in your life. Because again, I mean, I say this to you all the time, like when we're on the phone, like I love you to death, but you are someone that is very different in a good way. Like you are someone that genuinely many people could look up to for different reasons. It could be hard work. It could be your discipline. For me personally, it's your willingness to never give up. Like 4 years, 5 years at one business, it takes a lot. Like you talk about like me and doing Spanish for 10 months, and that's one thing, but to be dedicated to one task and dedicating your life to it, to this moment, it's astonishing. So I really admire you for that, and I appreciate you for letting me have time with you.
Of course. I really appreciate it. I love talking. Everybody knows that. I love talking, so anytime I can talk, I'll be there.
Always. Well, thank you, and we'll definitely do some more content, all right? For sure. If you enjoyed the video, please slap the like button. I enjoyed having Vicky as a guest, and hopefully that we can have her on another time for a different topic, because she has a lot of value that she can bring to a lot of people. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you enjoyed the video, slap the like button, and we'll see you in the next one.
Protect the plane with, that's too much sauce. Her man